Have you recently changed jobs, gotten laid off, or are transitioning into retirement, and you have an old 401k with that former employer that you haven't moved because you don't know how to do it? Well, in today's video, I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to know to roll over that old 401k in 3 simple steps, as well as some very common mistakes to avoid so you can get your retirement dollars working for you as quickly as possible. My name is Amanda Ryba. I have been working in the financial services industry for 9 years as of the date this video is being produced, and I have helped hundreds of people over the course of my career roll over their money from one account to another. So I know what I'm doing. I've encountered just about anything you could possibly think of you could encounter trying to do this. So this video will teach you everything you need to know. Let's dive in. First, it's important to note that doing a rollover does not create a taxable event as long as you're staying within the same tax bucket. You shouldn't be incurring any additional taxes, penalties, or fees to do the roll. Now, there might be a small closeout fee that is charged by the 401k company that has your money when you close that account, but that should really be it. Let's get started. The very first step is you want to call up the investment company that holds your 401k and ask them if your money is actually eligible to be rolled over. Now, it's important to note that we aren't doing any money moving on this call. We're just doing some simple fact finding. So you're going to want to call up the customer service team and ask them these questions. First, you ask how much of my money is eligible to be rolled over into another qualified plan. When we say qualified plan, that is going to let the representative know that you intend to move that money into another type of retirement account, so no taxes should be incurred to do the roll. Then you ask, what is the current balance of my account as of the last close of market? The stock market is open and live from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, minus certain holidays. So they're not going to give you the current balance as of the middle of the day when you're calling. They're always going to give it to you as of the last close of market. This will just make you sound a little bit more educated, like you know what you're doing when you talk to them on the phone. Then ask, great, is all this money pre-tax or is there any Roth money in here? Pre-tax means you haven't paid taxes on that money yet, and Roth means you have already paid taxes on it. That money is growing essentially tax-free for you. So it's important to know the balance of both because when you process a rollover, those two types of money cannot be mixed. They would have to go into two separate types of accounts. Then you want to ask, well, how much of my money is actually eligible to be rolled over? There have been times where you can call and they can tell you have this big balance, but maybe it's not all eligible to be rolled over for one reason or another. You want to know exactly what's eligible to be rolled. And lastly, you just simply want to ask them to confirm your account number or your plan number. A lot of 401ks don't actually have an account number, they have a plan number, and sometimes they just use your social security number. So you want to make sure you know the number that is associated with your account. By asking these questions, you will figure out if your rollover is straightforward or if there's any restrictions. Step 2 is determining the actual process to roll your money. Now, every company handles rollovers differently, and a lot of times this isn't even based on the investment company that has your money, it's based on your actual employer. They are the ones that set the guidelines for the process to roll money out. So, again, you want to ask your representative these questions. What is the process to roll my money out and into another qualified plan? Can this be done over the phone with you? That is great, fantastic when that's the option. Or can this be done online? If it can be done online, make sure to ask them, what are the actual steps that you need to follow? Sometimes the website isn't always very clear on the steps that you need to take to process your own rollover. Always ask them if that investment company has any forms that you need to complete for a distribution or for a rollover. And if they do, ask them, does anything need to get stamped with a signature guarantee or a medallion stamp or some kind of a notary? Or sometimes they might tell you that they can just accept transfer of assets paperwork with a letter of acceptance coming from the new institution. If that is the case, that is fantastic. That's ideally what we want to hear. You just need to confirm if they accept electronic signatures, and you also want to confirm the address, the phone number, and the fax number on where those forms need to be sent. And lastly, if paperwork is needed, you do also want to confirm if there is any third-party administrator that needs to sign off on the transfer forms. This is very common to see with people that work in a school district. If a third-party administrator's signature is required, please make sure to ask them what is the mailing address, the phone number, and the fax number where those forms need to be sent. Now that we know how much of your money is eligible to be rolled over and the process to do that, step 3 is confirming where the funds will be going once you process the rollover. So again, you want to ask that representative, once you receive all the paperwork that's needed from me or online or over the phone, how long does it typically take to process the request? And then from there, you want to ask them, where does the check go? The check with your money, does it go to you in the mail to your home address, or will they send it directly to the new institution? Every company handles this process differently, so it's very important to confirm where that check is going to be going, if it's coming to you in the mail or if it's going to be going directly over to the new institution. Because there's two types of rollovers. There's what's called indirect and direct. An indirect rollover means that they're sending the money to you and you are responsible to get that check to the new account that you want it to be placed into. And you only have 60 days to do that. If you do not do that in the 60-day time frame, that rollover will now be considered a distribution and it will be taxable income coming in to you. Now, a direct rollover is so much simpler because the companies talk to each other. One company just sends the money directly to the other and it leaves you completely out of the mix. But if that money is going to be coming to you in the mail, I would highly recommend that you ask that representative if they have an option for what we call express mail, which means that they will be sending it to you with a tracking number. That way you can make sure it doesn't get lost in the mail. And once you do receive it, you always want to make a copy of the original check for your records. And then you send the original check unsigned on the back over to the new institution. Again, I would send that with an express mail with a tracking number so you can make sure it gets there. And I usually recommend to include a cover letter with your name and your account number and where that money is going to get deposited. Now let's talk about some potential roadblocks that you could face for rolling over your money. First, we kind of talked about it earlier. There might be a need for a third-party administrator's signature on some paperwork to move your money. This will almost indefinitely slow things down. I highly recommend, if this is the case, that you get the name and the phone number, if you can get a name and phone number of the person that signature is required, so you can follow up with them to make sure they actually complete their part. Second, some companies actually have what's called blackout dates, meaning that you cannot roll over your money during certain dates. This could be either due to market fluctuations or something internal that's happening within the company. So if you're looking at doing a rollover, I would just confirm that there isn't any upcoming blackout dates. And another possible condition you might be met with is when you have a 401k that involves profit sharing. When profit sharing is involved, sometimes they have restrictions on moving money until the profit sharing is deposited into the 401k accounts. This again could put a damper on your rollover and cause you to delay moving it until that actually gets executed. Every investment company has its own set of rules and procedures, so just expect there to be some variations. And again, if you are not sure of what these steps are, that's what your representative is there for. Ask them any questions you can think of that can help you facilitate this rollover as quickly as possible. Now that we have all of the details that we need to figure out how much of our money is eligible to be rolled over, what type of account it is, if it's pre-tax or Roth, now you need to figure out what type of account you want to roll that money into. And the key here is you want to make sure this new account is set up and established before you actually process the rollover. Most of the time, they are going to require a new account number to be sending that check over to. So that's why it's important that that first phone call is really just fact finding. Then from there, you want to do a deep dive into the different types of retirement accounts you could be rolling that money into. And that's really going to be dependent on your age, your risk tolerance, and essentially your goals for your money. I'm not going to dive into that here, but I have linked a video above that will share a little bit more with you about the different types of options you have for rolling over your money. But again, you just want to make sure that you have that new account already set up and already established and ready to receive your money when the time comes. If your old 401k company accepts the transfer of assets and letter of acceptance from your new institution, make sure to get with your representative for your new account and have them help you prepare those documents. Most likely, they will need a wet signature from you on it. Very few companies accept electronic signature, and then you will need to get that back over to your rep or to the investment company to send that over to the company that has your 401k to collect your money. All right, let's do a quick recap. So we already called the investment company to see if our money was eligible to be rolled over. We asked about the paperwork and the process to do that. We now understand where the funds are going to go. We are now aware of any potential roadblocks that we might face, such as an additional signature to get our money to move. And we have sat down and selected the new account that we want to roll that money over to. There you go. Hopefully this video helped you realize how easy it is to roll over your own 401k. But if you found yourself pausing this video all the way through to take copious notes on the right questions to ask the reps, don't worry. I created an entire guide for you with all the questions you need to ask so that when you make that phone call to your 401k company, you sound like a pro. All you have to do is click the link in the description of this video below, fill out your information, and I will shoot that right over to your email. Now, if you happen to know of anybody that has recently changed jobs, gotten laid off, or is transitioning into retirement, please share this video with them. There's a high chance that they probably also have an old 401k that they need to roll too. And if you like this video and you want to see any videos just like it, click that subscribe button and hit the bell to turn on notifications because I release a new video every single week and I wouldn't want you to miss it. Give us a thumbs up and I'll see you back here next week on YouTube.